Hello, everyone. Welcome into Yelling from the Couch. Extreme overreaction. Bengals and the Chargers game. I'm Brent Humphreys, joined by Joey Mullins. Joey, the Bengals just dropped a game to the Chargers, 34-27 on the road in LA, in what was a crazy game. They fell behind 24-6 at the half and made a furious comeback. 27-27 they got it to. And had a chance, man. Evan McPherson misses a couple of kicks, and Chargers come down, win the game. How you feeling, Joey?
A little deflated. Uh, I mean, the defense, brought them back in the second half, but the offense just couldn't seem to come up with the right plays when they needed them. I mean, they did, but at the end of the game, McPherson, man, you make that last kick, the whole game changes.
So in the first half, we'll start there. Just to go. The first half was just completely awful for the Bengals offensively and defensively. T. Higgins caught a catch early on. Uh, then he took what I thought was a cheap shot from Perryman on the Chargers.
Hmm.
No call. Uh, Higgins was already down, and he comes flying in, hits him in the lower back. Looked like they was kind of aiming to do that. They knew he was already a little hurt, and maybe it was a little cheap shot there on him, but he came back, and man, he had a monster game when he did come back. He was great. He ended up with 9 catches for 148 yards and a touchdown, and that touchdown was a big one, 42 yards to cut it within 7 in the second half. But man, and then in the first half there, Justin Herbert scrambling around like he was Lamar Jackson. There was no
Yep.
spy to be found anywhere on. There was no quarterback spy anywhere that I saw in the first half.
No, and those two run plays were key in the first half.
We had 2 runs for 50 yards in the first half, just like that. And they just let him go, just let him run it. And they had big chunk passing plays in the first half. LA did. Things were
Hmm.
way too easy for the Chargers. McConkey, Disley, Johnston. I mean, it was too easy for them in that first half. The Bengals had no answer for them.
No. And like you said, the first half, I mean, everything was wide open, you know, passing and running. Um, you can't let the quarterback get loose like that. I mean, he's not a running quarterback. He's a pocket quarterback. So it's deflating. I mean, the Bengals made a great comeback second half. Defense stepped up. Like I said, they had to. But you make two drives and you're counting on your kicker and he just can't come through neither time. It's deflating.
Yeah, and Lad McConkey, the rookie wide receiver from Georgia, destroyed them on the last drive of the game. He ended up with 6 catches for 123 yards. No touchdowns, but there was no touchdowns needed from him because he tore them up. They were going to lead into field goal range, and from 29 yards out, J.K. Dobbins runs it in to seal it for the Chargers, and the Bengals just had a couple of prayers at the end that were not answered. Uh,
Yeah.
Early in the first half, man, the Bengals got into the red zone twice, and they couldn't punch it in, settled for field goals. Once you get in the red zone, man, you've got to punch those in. You can't go back to back times and only get field goals out of it.
Yeah. And they were what, 70 some percent in the red zone this year coming into the game. I mean, usually when they get it in the red zone, they, they punch it in or they get points out of it. But in this game, field goals just wasn't going to do it.
Especially in the first half like that. I mean, you get so far behind, it's hard to come
Yeah.
back and win a game. They came back, but they couldn't finish it off. They showed in the first half. Jermaine Pratt at one point in time, after like the first touchdown that the Chargers came down and went, he was, trying to be a leader, I guess, yelling at his defense to pick it up and yelling at Cam Taylor-Britt in, particular. And then Cam Taylor-Britt was pulled for a little bit during this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you need that guy, on each end of the ball, each side of the ball, to step up, be a leader, be vocal, say, hey, this is what we need to do. I know it's a loss, but what about Chase Brown? 5 catches, 57 yards receiving, 22 carries for 86 yards rushing.
Played great.
I mean, he had a monster game. So did T. Higgins. But you sit here and talk about all these stats, but, still lost.
I couldn't tell which was worse in that first half, the Bengals defense or their O-line. The defense just letting everybody score on you and go up and down the field. I mean, open chunk plays here and there. Herbert running all over him. And then the Bengals O-line, how many times did Burrow get hit in that first half or had no time to do anything? I mean, I couldn't tell you which one was worse.
They were both about equal in my book. I mean, you've got to give your quarterback, and there were so many. I mean, me and you. I mean, we were talking. We watched the game live, and it's like, man, who you blocking? You're letting some guy come in untouched and run right at your quarterback. I mean, you can't do that in a game like this. But
and there was a couple plays before the half there that I thought could have been key. Turned out that they didn't turn out to be a whole lot, but I mean, Chargers got a field goal out of it, which they were already in range. But I'm pretty sure that clock hit 2 minutes before that ball was snapped for the Chargers, and they got a free play.
They did.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm about 95% sure that play clock or that game clock hit 2, and it should have been 2-minute warning, and they let them play on.
Yeah, I remember. That was. I'd have to go back and rewind it because they didn't review it or nothing. So I'm pretty sure the 2-minute warning hit because after the play was over, clock was at like 156 or 155. So.
And then another play, Herbert doesn't get out of the pocket, is in the tackle box, and throws to nobody. I always thought that was called intentional grounding. No call. No call at all. They just kind of let that one go.
And I agree. I mean, it's just, but the Bengals shouldn't have been in this position. The first half they played horrible. I mean, if they clean the first half up, then we're looking at a different game.
And then the next play, the very next play after the intentional grounding, they called defensive pass interference on Josh Newton in the end zone. And they said that he didn't get his head turned around. And his head was turned around the whole time. I don't get that call at all. I don't understand.
I don't either. But there's been a lot of play calls over this year with referees, like face mask. I mean, but I don't know.
Like I said, though, it didn't, affect, what the outcome of the game was because they were in field goal range anyway. It's just the fact that they called the guy for the penalty with 4 seconds left in the half, but the guy the play before didn't get called for intentional grounding. I don't know. Didn't sit well with me. And then halftime hit 24-6. It's like, okay, this is Not good at all.
Yep.
Well, Chargers come out. They get a field goal, make it 27-6. Okay. Well, then the Bengals get the ball, and the Chargers make them work. I mean, this was a tough, long drive. I mean, a good 5-6 minute drive for the Bengals to come down and score with Jamar Chase touchdown to make it 27-13.
Yeah. I mean, Jamar Chase had 7 catches, 75 yards. Not his typical game. I mean, he usually, when I say that, typical game, but usually you see Jamar, like the longest pass he had was 32 yards. Usually, you know, like the announcers are talking about, Collinsworth said, you can't count the Bengals out because they usually get these big chunk plays, these big explosive plays downfield. So, and you didn't really see a lot of that tonight. There wasn't really no explosive play. The longest passing play was what, 42 yards to T. Higgins for a touchdown. So,
yeah, and that was the very next drive on third down. The very next drive, T. Higgins, he's back, and he gets wide open down the field. And it was third down, and they called a timeout, and right down the seam right there goes T. Higgins. 42 yards, perfect play, 7-point game. All right, if the Bengals could come up with a stop here, we've got ourselves a game. And the Bengals defense, what do you know? They come back, they don't get the stop, but Justin Herbert decides he wants to scramble around again in the second half. And, Joey, what did Justin Herbert do here over on the sideline?
on the side, oh, he
coughed it up.
Yeah.
He fumbled it.
Coughed it up. Fumbled the ball.
Geno
turned it over. Lamar Jackson, whenever, the season's on the line,
Yeah. And Geno Stone is there, to pick it up and get it. Big, key, pivotal turnover of the game for the Bengals. They really needed a turnover. They got the turnover right there. And we're looking decent right now. I mean, got the ball, down 7, fourth quarter. And then the Bengals come down the field, and Burrow finds Jamar Chase from 17 yards out, and Jamar Chase makes a catch and holds onto it with one hand, keeps it the whole time. I mean, the hand strength of that guy to hold on to that ball the whole way is something else, man. That was a heck of a catch, heck of a drive for the Bengals.
Yeah, it was. When he caught the pass, he originally caught it, and then he caught it through contact. And I'm like, oh, God, just hang on to it. And he hung on to it all right. And you seen the ball flash in front of the camera with his single hand on the ball, and it smacked the ground, and he still had the ball in his hand. I'm like, man, great catch.
And then the next drive, they get the Chargers to go 3 and out again, they get them, they turn them over again on downs, or not on downs, but they force them to punt it again, I should say. And then the Bengals get into field goal range, and Evan McPherson, whose nickname is Money Mike for whatever reason, sure, he was decent his rookie year, but he has not been money this year, and he misses wide left. He hooks it. Disappointing.
Unreal.
And then the Chargers get the ball back with, what was it? Just a few minutes left in the game, I think. 7 minutes left, I think it was. Because Chris Collinsworth was saying, we can have a 4-ish minute drive here. And I'm like,
yeah,
7 minutes, 30 seconds left in the game. What's he talking about?
4-minute offense.
4-minute
What is
offense. And then Herbert, they get it to third down. The Bengals force third down, and Justin Herbert has Lad McConkey wide open. Nobody even around him on 3rd and 14. And he puts a little bit much on it, a little bit too much on that, leads him out, and incompletion. Bengals force another punt, and they get the ball back. And you're thinking, okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. And then the Bengals come down. They get in the field goal range once again. And we bring out the guy that everybody's called Money Mac. And of course, a name like Money Mac, what's Money Mac do, Joey? What does he usually do, right? What does people think that he does? One of the best kickers in the league, right?
Cash money, son. You put
Cash
it through
money.
the uprights. You put it through the uprights. If he'd have done it the first time, it would have been great. The second time was absolutely just deflating.
And he takes it 51 yards, and he hooks it one more time. And then the Chargers get the ball back. And you're like, oh, boy, here we go. This is how it's going to end. Chargers are going to get the ball back. And I think it was second down. Justin Herbert throws a pass over to McConkey. Mike Hilton has both hands on the ball. And if he hangs on to that, he walks into the end zone with a pick six. Yes. He doesn't. The Bengals get the ball back once again. Here we go. Bengals getting the ball back. It's still a tie game, even after all that. The Bengals go 3 and out real quick. They punt the ball away to the Chargers with about 2 minutes left. And then the Chargers go 84 yards down the field. Lad McConkey, 2 big passing plays. And then a 29-yard J.K. Robbins rushing touchdown to put the Chargers up 34-27. And then the Bengals get the ball back with 18 seconds. And they throw a pass down to Chase. First off, they throw a pass to Yoshivash to get it to the 43-yard line. Yep. They get a timeout. And then they throw the ball down to Chase on the sidelines. Incomplete. 3 seconds. Throw a Hail Mary. T. Higgins gets his hands on it. They knock it away. Chargers survive. And the Bengals, once again, with a disappointing loss to go to 4-7 on the season. 4-7.
Yeah. And looking at the stat sheet here, I'm going to tell you my biggest takeaway of the game. Los Angeles rushing. Justin Herbert, 65 yards, 5 carries. Their running back had 56 yards on 11 carries. To me, that is the big – because those 2 runs for him, dude, were major, I think.
Oh, they were. They were big. But he had a run, too, that got nowhere. But like you said, those 2 first half runs were huge in, like – that one, man, it felt like he ran forever, and nobody was even close to him when he ran over to the right side.
No spy whatsoever. They had no idea.
No spy. And then he ran, I believe he only ran one time in the second half, and that's when he fumbled. I may be wrong. He may have ran another time. But second half, they kind of held him in check, but, he ran that one. He fumbled there, but – yeah, that's a big key right there is when your quarterback outruns your running back. But, I mean, they outrushed Cincinnati overall 155 to 110. Chase Brown had 86 yards. If you look, Chase Brown, number 1 running back, 86 yards. The number 2 rusher was Joe Burrow with 28. Quarterback. If you look over at Los Angeles, Herbert led the way, but then you got J.K. Dobbins, who's a running back, 56 yards. Gus Edwards, running back, 26. Hassan Haskins, running back, he got 1. But Bengals didn't even have a second running back come in and take a snap. Like Herbert did not carry the ball after getting 1 last week. Travion Williams didn't come in and carry the ball. Bengals have no backup running back. Nobody to come in and give Chase Brown a legit break. And that is not good in the NFL. You have to have at least 2 running backs.
Yes. And the Bengals have more receiving yards, 356, 297. So, like I said, man, I think, I don't know, between the offensive line not being able to give Burrow time, uh, them letting Justin Herbert get loose in the first half for big chunk runs. uh, that and it's just the Bengals always find themselves in these situations where it's either a close game, they're either in the lead and they give up a lead and they're trying to keep it, or they're down and they come back and they don't make enough plays to win the game.
Yeah, Gage says, man, if they got Khalil Herbert in for more snaps, they would have won for sure. Yeah, no. They do need a second option at running back, but
Yeah.
Herbert ain't it, man.
No.
Herbert ain't it.
No.
Oh, man. But, yeah, the Bengals, I mean, in the second half there, Burrow, overall, he had 356 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, tonight. It seemed like he was hit a lot of times. I mean, felt like they sacked him more than 3. I mean, they were all over him. And then Herbert, 297 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Bengals got to him twice today. But, yeah, just, man, 4-7.
It's rough.
Not good.
It's rough. I mean, like I said before, the Bengals defense at times, they're great. But it just seems like sometimes when you need them to be great, they're just not there.
Played a lot better in the second half than they did in that first half for sure.
Yes. Yes.
And I was just looking here at the stats. Cam Taylor-Britt had 1 tackle today. He had half a sack, and that was in the first half, I believe the first drive of the game. And that was it. And I don't know if he even played after that. And, but, I mean, Josh Newton came in. He didn't play bad. He got that penalty on him. But, like I said, I don't know if, there was really much of a penalty there at the end of that. But he didn't play bad. Mike Hilton got beat a couple of times when he was covering Ladd McConkey. But, that's just kind of – he could have ended the game, though. Yeah,
yes.
the road to the playoffs are – I think they got the Bengals right now at 10% chance of making the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, they play Pittsburgh twice. They play Cleveland. They play Dallas. I mean, Tennessee. The schedule's not Denver. Schedule's not too bad the rest of the way. But, I mean, Pittsburgh beat Baltimore today. Pittsburgh's defense is better than the Chargers' defense. What's that O-line going to do? What's that O-line going to do with T.J. Watt and the boys up front there? He's going to live in Joe Burrow's backfield.
Yes. Joe Burrow will dream about him the next day.
Unfortunately.
Like nightmares. Because, yeah.
And Khalil Herbert did get in the game. He returned a kick for 29 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
he did get in the game.
Yeah, he did. He got in the game. And then Jermaine Burton, how many deep shots are the Bengals going to throw to him and miss? All of them?
Dude, it's stuff like you said. I just don't understand why. What they one play on third down, they threw to Burton, and then It's like,
overthrew him.
why are you throwing to him on third down?
They do it. They done it last week too many times, and they've done it. They did it this week, and it's just like, come on. But hey, the uniforms look good.
They did. They did. They look good.
Yeah, we had mentioned the penalty on Josh Newton, which I didn't think was a penalty at the end of the game or at the end of the half, where he turned around, and then the Herbert missed intentional grounding. I thought at the end of that half there, it was bad at the end of that first half there. But the Bengals, hey, like I said, the jerseys look good this week. Hey, nice. They're off next week, so we don't have to put ourselves through this next week. We could just enjoy Red Zone and just watch other teams and watch what actual good football is. Because, yeah. And then the Bengals come back on the 1st of December, and they play the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, we have to bring Gage in on this overreaction on the Pittsburgh game.
Oh, yeah. I think that'd be great right there. We just have an overreaction on the Pittsburgh game right there. That's Thanksgiving weekend right there. Yeah. We just have a big overreaction with all of us here. 6 games left, man. You got the Steelers, and then you got the Cowboys on Monday night, which I'll be watching. I'll just watch the Simpsons broadcast at that point in time because it's going to be better than what's going to be on that screen. Then they play at the Titans versus the Browns at home. Then they got the Broncos at home, then at Pittsburgh. So, I mean, there's a shot that they can – I mean, there's still a slim sliver of hope, but I don't think it's – I think today was their last shot to stay alive in the playoffs, and they didn't. They couldn't pull through. They blew it once again. Money Mike, I mean – thanks for your rookie year that you gave us. But yeah.
I mean, I hate to put it all on the kicker because it wasn't all on the kicker. There was so many other plays in the game we talked about. But when you come down and you have a chance to take the lead under 2 minutes, I mean, come on, man. You got to make it count. He basically had two chances at it. Take the lead. But
yeah, he did. And he kicked it the same way both times. He didn't learn nothing from the first one. Snap and everything was good. Laces were out. All that. Everything that the kicker whines about. He got it. They got it right, and he still missed. So what's your excuse this time? This is not the first time he's missed one for a game winner this year,
Oh,
the Baltimore game.
Mm-hmm.
Missed that one. And that's, you win that game, you win this game, season looks different. I mean, you're 6-5 and you're tied for the Broncos for the last place in the wild card. As of right now, you're 2 games back. I mean, there's, like I said, that small chance that it happens, but it's not looking good. I mean, you're in a better spot than the Jets are, who, have all that talent and have 3 wins. But again, the Bengals have all that talent and just have 4 wins, so really can't say much on that.
I think the Bengals have more talent with just 4 wins. But, yeah. Crazy game.
How you feel about it now? How you feel about the rest of the year, Joey?
Well, I don't know. Like I said, like you said, there's a sliver of hope, and that's all. As a Bengals fan, that's all you can hold on to. It's a sliver of hope. But looking at it from a football standpoint, I don't think there's a shot to make the playoffs. I just don't. I mean, if I'm looking at it from what I've seen, these just I don't know, a mix of everything. Defense, missed field goals, missed assignments, offensive line. It's just like they're not together right now. So I don't know. What do you
You
think? What's
said,
your overall take on it?
well, I'll get to that in a second, but you said a mixing of everything. Yeah, Joe Mixon would be great to have right back
Yeah.
right about now as
Oh,
a
he
running
would be.
back, as a him and
Yeah,
Chase
he would be.
Brown back there, 1-2 punch. That would be nice. But
Yeah.
man, I think that tonight was their last opportunity to
Hmm.
stay in the playoff hunt. I mean, I was even telling myself, hey, they win today, they're right in the thick of things. But they didn't win today. Um, Once you start a season off 0-3 and losing to a team like the Patriots to begin the season, who didn't even have Drake May at the time, who is the quarterback who's looking decent right now for him, and then you lose a 1 point game to the Chiefs, and then the Monday night game. That's when we learned that the defense is not that good because Jaden Daniels picked them apart. Then you lose that could be on Money Mac there, and you start off 1-4 to begin the season. It's hard to pull yourself out of that hole and do anything in that season. But I thought today, if they would have won, they would have started to try to pull themselves out of that hole just a little bit. But with
Yeah.
this loss, I feel like it's about done. It's about coffin nails on the season, I believe, for the Bengals. And man, I was just hoping they could at least get me to Thanksgiving, and they didn't. So, 6 weeks left of them to play. I'll be tuning into every game, but don't have much hope for the playoffs, unfortunately, and that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Uh, I don't know. It just seems like they get off to a slow start every year. You know, like you said, losing to the Patriots. You get off to a slow start. You know, how about let's get off to a fast start? Let's win our first 2 or 3 games. You know, but I don't know. The life of a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
Yes, yeah, we got the Reds in the spring to disappoint us, and then we turn to the Bengals in the fall to disappoint us even more. Man, it's just great. It's great.
It is.
I love it. Gage says Burrow has lost 3 games this season where he has 3 passing touchdowns, 300 yards, and no picks. The most losses with those stats in the season in the Super Bowl era. That sums it up right there. That sums
I
up
believe it.
the Bengals season right there. Breaking records and not winning games.
Breaking the wrong kind of records.
Yeah. Burrow, the last 3 weeks, he's had 12 touchdowns in 3 weeks and 1 win to show for. It's not good.
You tell me
But
if you look at a stat sheet and you said this quarterback's had 12 touchdowns in the past 3 weeks, you're going to say he's won every game.
you're going to say, man, he's won every game and he's probably in a conversation for an MVP, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But no,
He's lost 2 of the 3 and he's not in the conversation for an MVP. So it is very disappointing. It says the Chargers here took a jab at the Bengals after the game, something to do with the Home Alone. Yeah. Let's see. It looks like they tweeted out a video of the Bengals, and it's on Kevin there, and I think it's where he's coming out saying, "Hey, I'm not afraid anymore." And then the neighbor comes out and he runs back inside, and they got the Chargers thing on it. Yeah, that's real nice.
real cute.
Kick us while we're down.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Clark.
Hmm.
Well, that pretty much sums up the disappointment. I don't think it's much of an overreaction to say that the Bengals are not making the playoffs this year and that the season is a waste. You wasted T. Higgins' final year this year. I mean, he hasn't been healthy the whole time, but you've had chances to win even without him. You had a chance today to win with him.
Yep.
And you've wasted that. The last time they played in that building was the Super Bowl, and they lost, and then they lose this one as well. Also another play real quick. Could have been big. Burrow finds Yoshivash for a pass, but over here, Jamar Chase breaks loose, wide open.
Oh,
Same exact spot. I mean, a little bit further down the field than it was in the Super Bowl, but same exact thing right there. You hit Jamar Chase right there, you score a touchdown. You don't have to worry about Evan McPherson. I'm not referring to him as the other name right now. Evan McPherson to win you a game on his leg. You are a touchdown right there, and you've got a touchdown lead, and then the Chargers have to come down and match that. Instead, you do that, and then you lean on McPherson's leg, and he hooks it, and there you are. But, man, Chase was wide open once again, same stadium.
it's like I said, man. It's between the O line, man, especially in the Super Bowl. You know, and like you said, it was not in the same exact spot, not the same exact thing, but in the Super Bowl, Chase was open, wide open, but Burrow didn't have enough time to throw. And me and you had talked tonight. How many times has Burrow not had time to throw? It's like, my God. But yeah, that was a key play too. Because I seen it as soon as it happened. I'm like, oh, he's open. Just throw him the ball.
Yep.
But
And it's ironic that it's the same stadium as it was where the Super Bowl was held, and he was also wide open
mhm,
too and wasn't hit. So,
that would have won
but
the game.
uh, like I said, this wasn't much of an overreaction because I don't think they're making the playoffs. Keep watching, but I think that's it for the Bengals football this year.
You never know.
Uh,
You never know.
they still got very slim. You got to win out at this point, I believe, but uh, they they didn't tonight, and that'll do it for here for us. Yelling from the couch, our overreaction for the game. Uh, Thanks everybody for tuning in. Check out all of our socials and all of our other podcasts. You can catch us on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. Uh, Check out at Yelling Couch, at Wagering Couch, and check out our Discord for our picks. And we'll be back. We may do another overreaction video later this week. We may not. It all depends. Kentucky's got Lipscomb. I know North Carolina plays Hawaii at, I don't know, 3 in the morning or something weird like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be something weird. But
So I don't think we'll do an overreaction on that one, but you
no.
never know. We may just live stream Joey for that and just have him just put that up on YouTube himself and go from there.
Oh boy. I don't
But
know if you want to live stream me watching North Carolina basketball game. That would be bad.
but
Yeah.
we'll call it a night right here, and we'll head on out. We'll see you all in the next one.